And I was having really bad night sweats to the point where I'd have to wake up in the middle of the night and strip my bed and like take a shower or change my clothes that I was wearing. I just felt really fatigued and all I would do is sleep. I remember I slept 8 hours through the day and I woke up and I ate a little snack and then I went back to sleep and I slept the rest of the night. When I heard the word leukemia, I was just scared and I was in fear. I had just moved to Alabama, Tuscaloosa, and I was getting ready to rush. And I had gone through the whole rush process. I hadn't really felt that off. The night sweats had gone on for, I want to say, about a week before I had said anything. And at first, in my mind, I just thought that my room was too hot. I started not wanting to go out with my friends. I would just stay in, and I stayed in like 3 days in a row. I was only sleeping or getting up to eat a little bit. And I'd also lost 10 pounds in a week. I remember feeling like I was doing myself a disservice almost for not going out and hanging out with my friends and trying to do as much as I possibly could. When I moved to Tuscaloosa, I wanted a new start and I wanted to make my own life for myself. I came because I moved 4 hours away. I knew no one. And then I rushed an amazing sorority and I made an amazing group of friends. But then eventually I kept feeling worse and worse. And then I went to my friend's bid day in Ole Miss. And we were standing there and it's like my body just shut down. Like my legs just kind of gave out. My arms were super weak. And at that point, I was slurring my words. I couldn't get my arms over my head. And so that was when it was first really alarming. The Ole Miss day was definitely very, very terrifying and just overall one of the scariest experiences to the date I've been through. And then that's when I felt that I needed to tell my mom about this and that I needed to go to the doctor. I got my blood work done, and then it came over the intercom saying that they had a critical blood work, and that was my results. And so that's when my mom was like, okay, this isn't normal, because my mom's a pediatrician as well. And so that definitely helped throughout the entire process because she knew what she was looking at. My mom took me to an oncologist, which is also one of her friends in the medical world. And I got my bone marrow tested and I went back to Tuscaloosa and I was with my friends. And then on September 3rd, we found out. And then that's when I was diagnosed with APL leukemia. And I remember when my mom and dad first came to break the news to me, I had just gotten back from Young Life with one of my sorority sisters, and my parents had my whole dorm packed up. And my mom was standing at the door frame, and she just told me that they had some bad news, and I knew immediately. And my mom told me that I was sick, and I remember I hit the floor and I cried. And then I remember I stood up and then I was just trying to make jokes with my roommates and my parents at that point. My parents drove me back home that night and I was admitted into the hospital in Augusta. It was definitely like my life had just done a complete 180, and I remember just feeling the sense of this is so unfair and what did I do to deserve this? Because my life had been looking up so much. Like I said, I had met an amazing group of friends. And when I got diagnosed, I remember I was just so much in fear, but I was also just upset with myself, upset with the doctors, upset with God. I was wondering why this would happen to me. I remember being so worried about my parents and knowing that if this was wrecking me as hard as it was, that it had to have been 10 times worse on my parents, because no one loves me and no one cheers me on harder than both my parents do. My mom found out when she was at work, and they told my mom, get here as safely but as quickly as possible. And they were like, I don't mean to scare you, but I am trying to scare you. You need to get here as quickly as possible. Because APL, the kind of leukemia I have, the first month is extremely crucial. I had to spend a month in the hospital that first month because my white blood cells and my immune system had they were super low. All my immune system guards were down. I wasn't even allowed to walk the full floor of my hallway. I wasn't allowed to go outside. And there's something called differentiation syndrome in my kind of leukemia, and the kind of chemo that I received was arsenic and atra. Arsenic, like the rat poison. That was my chemotherapy. And then I also had oral medicine, Astra, that I would take. Differentiation syndrome is where the medicine can react to your body very poorly and you hold on to a lot of water weight and you swell really bad. I had really bad lower flank pain down here in my lower stomach, and my lower back was just in such bad pain, and my legs were awful. I had lost 10 pounds drastically so fast. All my nutrients and everything was just, it was gone. And having to see that and having to go through that and having to just see how your body changes while going through everything, that was definitely something that I struggled with, being an 18-year-old girl and just being a girl in general. Obviously, you struggle with body image, but that was definitely a harder thing that I had to go through. I would say that it was extremely isolating and it was an extremely lonely thing to go through, even though my parents were there the entire time. My mom and dad, they never left. My friends were always there. People were always calling me, sending me gifts, and I will forever extremely be so grateful for that, because that is something that really did truly help me get through the time I was in the hospital. The lonely feeling, I would have to say, just never really goes away. When I got out of the hospital and I returned home, I remember just being in my room and feeling so lonely, and that there's no one I can talk to. There's no one that gets it. I would do a month on of treatment. I would do it every single day for a month, and then I would do a month off, and I did that for 9 months. And my main goal was that I wanted to move back to school, and I wanted to live out my second semester as much as I could, because cancer had already taken away so many things from me. It had completely stripped me of my first semester and of the new life I was trying to make, but I didn't want that to let that stop me. And I also knew that if I didn't have a goal for myself, that I don't really know what would have happened, just because it does get dark and it does get lonely, and being able to have something to look forward to and to work towards was definitely super inspiring for me. And that's where my service dog also comes into play, Goose. I did training with him a lot when I was home before I went back to school after I got out of the hospital. And having him it changed the game completely. He's the best. He goes everywhere with me. He's definitely more than a dog. He's more than an animal. He's my other person, basically, and he's been through it with me. He went to every treatment with me since I brought him back to school at the end of February. I would say that the hardest part about moving back to school and continuing treatment was still trying to live your life as a normal college kid and try to hang out with your friends like you used to and do all the things that you used to do. And seeing that I couldn't do that, and that many days I would have to just stay in, or I would sleep, or I would get sick from treatment. I couldn't go hang out with my friends, or I wanted to go get dinner, but I was too sick, or I had treatment. That was definitely a harder thing. And I'm just grateful, honestly, that I believed in myself enough to do this. Not only did I go back to school, but I also finished with a 4.0 this semester. I had all A's. So that was definitely something good to celebrate and to show myself that even though I'm going through hard things, that I can still do everything that my friends are doing and that everyone in college is doing. I finished treatment. I rung the bell and I did my last round of treatment for hopefully the last time ever on April 24th. I can't even put into words the amount of just relief, and it just felt like a weight had been lifted off of me and my family as well. All the hard work and all the tears and all the many, many nights of tears and just wondering why, ringing the bell just made all of that go away and just washed that off completely. And just the weight being taken off my chest was incredible. And being able to walk out and seeing all my friends it just made everything feel so worth it, and that my hardships were noticed, and that that I had a good result come out of it and that I am happy and I'm healthy now. I'm just filled with such joy and just immense happiness that I am where I am today. But with that also comes the side of still being lonely and still wondering why this happened to you and why you had to go through that, and still the hardships of saying, well, this wasn't fair. I missed so many opportunities that I'm never going to be able to get back. I missed it was supposed to be the best year or the best time of your life, the best semester. I missed that, and that was taken away from me in just a blink. Because I'm just excited for a new start and just to become someone that I'm excited to see. My advice would be to ask for help. Don't think that you are too good and that, oh, I am a young adult now, I'm making my own life. No. If you have a gut feeling, you follow your gut feeling, and don't be afraid to ask for help. And also to know that your diagnosis is just that. It's a diagnosis, it's a sickness. It's not a personality, it's not a lifestyle. It's not who you are. And no matter the sickness you go through, no matter the diagnosis, that you are so much more than your diagnosis, and that you will forever be more than your diagnosis. Your diagnosis is a chapter of your book, not the entire story. Don't live in the words of, I have cancer, I am sick. Live in the words of, I want to become healthy, I want to beat cancer, I want to be able to go hang out with my friends. And if you're feeling down, give yourself something to look forward to and to work towards.